Blog Talk Radio.
Wednesdays. I am your host, Justin. I am feeling better. I'm back on the air, and I am joined by my co-host, Wendy. Wendy, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
So how are you doing tonight, Wendy?
I'm doing all right. Apparently better than you are out there in the great stormy state of Indiana.
Yeah, I know. We've had 2 supercells come through already. I've lost power. I'm on my cell phone. We'll see how it goes tonight. But so far, so good. I'm feeling good. I may not have power, but my phone does. So we're all good.
Good.
You want to tell us about our guest tonight?
Sure. We have with us the awesome and spectacular June Nixon. From my native town of Kansas City, and her partner Ross will be up here shortly as well, but I don't believe he's with us quite yet. But, June has been a founder, member, and worked with several different paranormal groups. She had Northwest Paranormal Research Group, the Ghost Girls, and is now currently with AGhost, and doing quite a bit with Spooked in Seattle. Hi, June.
Hello, how are you two lovely people doing?
We'll just teach you.
We're finally back on the air. I'm just so excited to be back.
I'm so glad. I bet you are.
It's been like 3 weeks or more. Like at first I thought it was 2. Like we were talking earlier, and Wendy was like, "No, it's been like a month." I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Oh my God, so, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better and everything. You've been through quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. So, I've been meaning to ask you. I've been so busy. I know you've been busy too, June, but you want to tell us a little bit about Spooked in Seattle and maybe your involvement in it?
Oh, sure. Well, Spooked in Seattle, of course, is based out of Seattle, if you didn't guess that. There might be a little clue in the name there. But not only do they do ghost tours here, they do ghost tours 6 o'clock every night, then also Friday and Saturday night at 6 o'clock and 8:15. You have to check out their website at www.spookedinseattle.com, and it's got a lot of other events too. We have movie nights once a month. We have little craft days. The last week we actually made really cute little voodoo necklaces, so little voodoo doll necklaces. So very, very cute. You have to check out the webpage and kind of look at some of the little things that we make there. Also, we have a Facebook page too, so check us out there too. But all sorts of different things. We have a pub tour that's really fun. Also do, ghost hunts if you're not wanting to join a group per se, but you'd love to go on a ghost hunt. We have one here actually at Spooked in Seattle, which this place is quite haunted. It's got some really cool activity going on here. And also at the SS Turner Joy in Bremerton, which is it's not really a battleship per se, but it is a warship of some kind. What kind of ship is, it's just a naval ship, okay, a destroyer. Oh, I think it is a destroyer, but it's really cool. It's awesome. If you ever want to do that, it's just absolutely awesome to go on there and just kind of see, something like that. And also pretty soon we're also going to have a tour out of a haunted island.
Haunted island?
Does that go through?
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
So we can't really say anything about it now, but we have the go-ahead to investigate it, and hopefully we'll get some really good evidence. But we're going to be there all night long. So
well,
it'll be
that
pretty
sounds
awesome.
exciting. A haunted island. Now,
Yes.
you know, I'm stuck all the way out here in Indiana. I can't do any haunted island. But you know
well,
what?
someday you can come out here and visit us. You know, we'll make sure you go to a haunted island. We'll get you set up.
I mean, I just investigate haunted cornfields, you know, children of the corn type stuff. But you know, that sounds very, very interesting. I can't wait till you can say more about it. Definitely, that sounds cool.
Yeah, as soon as we find out some more information about it, as soon as we're allowed to tell more information about it, we will tell you all the info, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So yes, this is a very cool place. People ought to check it out. I think you'd really, really enjoy it, especially, you know, tourists that are coming out to visit. You know, this is a great place to kind of hang out. We also have partnered up with Beneath the Streets. And they are an underground tour. They do some tours underground. So, and they do that in the daytime. Subterranean tours. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Subterranean tours. Not underground tours, but subterranean. And hidden passageways around Seattle. So it's pretty awesome. So they do that in the daytime. And we do ours at night.
Hidden passageways, that's got to be cool, too. Yeah. I thought I saw something about the underground, what you were talking about. I thought I saw a post about that. They have the underground tour here, which is an awesome tour in Seattle, but they're not allowed to use that term, so they can use Beneath the Streets. So it's pretty cool here. It's another tour, but it's different, a lot different. So I think people would enjoy it immensely. And Ross will be with us pretty soon. He's getting some water and he's had a very hectic day today, so he's doing really well. So he'll be with us pretty soon. You know, that's another thing too. I was gonna ask you, what's it? Is it different being on Ross's paranormal team than some of the other teams that you've been on? You know, since you've been an investigator, like, what's it like?
Yes. Well, you know, I can honestly say this. It's what I really enjoy. One of the things when I first started off, I guess you'd say that I started off in a group that was very, very, I don't know how to use the term. I don't know how to use the term. They were very, I don't even know how to use it. Kind of crazy. Everything had to be perfect. Very A-type personality was running it, and it was very militant. Yes, extremely militant personality, and it was kind of hilarious. And I wish my friend Matt, was on the chat or was on someplace, because we had one investigation where the leader of the group was giving us hand signals. About, you know, what we were supposed to do, and he didn't really go over what those hand signals meant before, and we were like, what are you talking about? And Matt was getting so mad. It was just so funny, because all of a sudden it's like he started signaling him, you know, like, I mean, hand signals that must have been military in fashion.
Military, or maybe some hand signals from baseball or something.
It could have been, I don't know, but we were like, what are you talking about? But, you know, he didn't want us to speak. He wanted us to be quiet, but we had no idea what he was talking about. So it was pretty funny, and I think Matt, that was when it was like, okay, no more, we can't take it. But it was a lot of other things kind of like that, and a lot of other issues came up and all this stuff, so it was a little crazy. And then I got into, you know, another group, which was, you know, with my wonderful friend Todd, who I absolutely, you know, adored and everything. And he was a little more, let me say, lax. It was like to the point where he'd invite 20 to 30 people on an investigation, and that's really not a good thing, because he just couldn't tell people no, you know. He loved people so much, he just couldn't tell them no. So, of course, we ended up having, you know, 30 people on an investigation, and, you know, everybody, you know, brought food. It turned into a big party. You can't really do an investigation like that. So you know, I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but you know, you can't really, you know, say that you've got really good evidence if there's 30 people talking downstairs, and I think I got this great EVP. But, you know, you can't really say that because, you know, it's not a controlled atmosphere. So that's why one reason I really, really like Ross. He has a controlled, you know, a really controlled area. You know, we do everything by the book. It's really nice, and I get to write up my reports and, you know, all sorts of fun stuff that I absolutely love. And it's very, you know, I can't think of the word.
Organized.
It's very nice.
Organized.
It's very organized,
structured.
yes. Yes, organized and structured. Those are really good words. I like that, and it's really nice because you know it just makes things a lot easier. And then when you do actually think that you have some evidence, then you know it's like there were 30 people.
Now. Or it's just easier to go through and.
Exactly.
Like a lot easier to debunk too, you know, if it is debunkable or, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. That's what I would assume. How many people are on your team?
Well, it's probably around, right now, it's 8 to 10 around people like that. But usually on an investigation, probably no more than 4 to 6 people, you know, at a time. It just depends on the location. For one of our locations coming up, we're going to have, you know, it's a majorly huge place, so we're going to probably have about 10 people. But, you know, something like that, it's going to be, but on the most part, it's around, you know, 4 to 6 people. For a residential, you know, it's very, very controlled, so I like that.
Well, that's really cool. SCI's like that too. We'll only have like 4 or 6 people on a case, depending upon how big the location is. Right. And I just think that's really important. And you know, I mean, when you look at Ross and you know, his background, you know, of course he would be like that. He would really want to have controlled environments as far as, you know, to lessen contamination. So it doesn't surprise me that you would see that, you know, since you joined his team. I think that's a really good thing. And I'm really happy for you guys.
Yeah, I really feel like I found, you know, I feel like I'm home now. You know, it's with a lot of things. Spooked in Seattle and AGhost, Advanced Ghost Hunters of Seattle. So, yeah, I feel like I'm home. I feel like a good,
that's really cool.
It's really good, yeah. Finally, yeah.
Is that Ross on the phone with us now?
My ears are ringing. Why is that?
Ross, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. You know, we're just on the air talking about you, you know. I mean, you know how it goes.
Well, I hope she's saying nice things, because otherwise I just have to paddle her.
We were just talking about your team. We were just talking about your team and how you conduct your team, and you know, that you don't invite too many people for investigations. You try to have a really controlled environment so that you can really try to collect evidence, and I think that's really good. My team does the same thing. You never want to have too many people on a location. So I was pretty much just commending you for that.
Well, thank you. And it is a difficult field to be in, because, you know, everybody's in it for their own reasons. And so you do have a lot of people out there that just want to party, you know, have a great time, hang out. Right. Hey, let's see if we experience something. Well, you know, how do you build credibility off of that if you want to call yourself a true paranormal investigator? And so, you know, having structure and having, you know, a controlled environment is only to help us build that credibility. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, it's great that there are people out there that just want to have a good time doing the ghost hunt, but I always encourage them, like, well, you know, don't get clients involved. Just go hang out at a haunted hotel and check into the haunted room, or hang out at the local cemetery with permission. And have your fun time. That's fine. But, you know, unfortunately, it's situations that are a little out of control that ruin it for the rest of us as well, because, you know, clients, you know, they invite a ghost hunting group to come out, and, you know, and they're bringing, you know, 20, you know, 30 people on their investigations. Like, what the hell?
That's just ridiculous, you know.
Well, that one may still be bringing that many people to an investigation. We just can't see them now.
Yeah, he's having fun wherever he is. That's the main thing.
So, Ross, tell me about when did you put together the team that you have now? When did you found AGhost? That's the name of the group, correct?
Right. The Advanced Ghost Hunters of Seattle, Tacoma. The idea was in 2000, but we had our first meeting in 2001. And we actually started out as the Amateur Ghost Hunters of Seattle, Tacoma. So we still had the acronym AGhost, but a lot of people felt that amateur might be affecting our credibility as we started to work more as professionals. Of course, we learn as we go, and you can't really call yourself a professional, but there are people that have been in the field longer that kind of have a better idea of what to do and how to conduct an investigation. So we ended up changing our name to Advanced, and just kind of took off from there. We were one of the oldest ghost hunting groups in the Pacific Northwest. So it's just, my biggest thing is I have always been in love with the science of it all. I really wanted to know, can we really support the fact that there is something going on out there? And that's what my goal has always been.
Okay. And when you started up the group, did you how do you determine which people joined your group? How do you did you conduct interviews, or was it just exclusive, just people that you knew, you trusted right away?
Well, and that's a tough question because unfortunately in this field it's very diverse. And I personally have always tried to maintain an open membership because I don't want anybody who is very serious and passionate about this to slip through the cracks. Right. But, of course, having open membership, it can actually lead into a lot of drama. And believe me, I've had my fair share of drama. So you get to the point where after so much time you realize that, are you really doing the work in trying to research paranormal activity, or are you actually just going into this to entertain your members? And that's one thing you really have to think about. It's like, wow, have I really been just entertaining my members, or actually have we been doing the work? And so I just got to a point where I have now decided that I think the best way to do it for anybody is to filter your members. After doing this for over 13 years, you kind of have to filter people and find the people that work best with you, because that's going to build you a much stronger team. Because believe me, unfortunately, one bad apple can ruin the whole bunch.
Right. Well, we asked June what it was like working for your team. I'd like to ask you because I've known June for a while, and when she did work with Northwest Paranormal Research Group, but what's it like working with June?
Well, this could be a really long interview.
I know where you live.
Yeah, she does know where I live. We love and adore June. She's been a great addition to the team. She's been a real sweetheart, and she's definitely done a lot of work for us, and so we always appreciate that. She is one of those rare gems, to actually get somebody like that in your group, and I hope everybody has the opportunity to meet someone like June and get them involved, because, she really has helped us quite a bit, and we'd be lost without her. Not just at, AGhost, but also at Spooked in Seattle, And I'm still trying to encourage her, and maybe everybody can help me. She needs to be a tour guide.
Absolutely. I agree. I think she'd be really good at it.
She would. She's got a great personality, She could be on the radio and do these classes, but to get her out there and do tours, I can't do it.
I'll try.
Why does June? You could do a couple tours with Ross, so you could get used to it, right? And then just kind of once you're used to it, you can kind of go off. I don't know how you guys do it, but
that would be true.
It'd be kind of like training type stuff.
She gets too nervous when she's around me. When she has to tell stories, she just kind of clams up.
I know, I can't help it. I don't know what it is. It's like every time I try to talk, it's like, and he's close by, it's like I just like, I can't talk.
You know, dude, I know exactly what you're saying. When I first started filming In the Shadows, just for YouTube, like just to be in front of a camera, like it can be a little scary. And then when you talk in front of people, I've been to a few conventions and you know, done a few Q&As and stuff like that. And to stand in front of people, the first couple of times, it's very scary. But once you get past that, it's so easy, and everything just flows. And you know, it's a lot of fun.
Okay. I will try. I
Okay,
promise.
June.
You can do it.
June,
I'm sure Ross would agree.
That's from the guy that wants to call in and start the studio up 20 minutes in advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know you can do it.
She can. She is an amazing person, a great personality, and that's really what it takes.
Good Lord, yes. The woman who can sing opera in front of a packed house, yeah.
I know, right?
I know.
Come on.
What's up with that?
I'll just have to sing the tours, I guess. I guess we'll just have to do our own operatic ghost tour.
Hey, maybe we could be the first to have singing
You're
tours.
You're going to do a musical for Spooked in Seattle, then.
I'll bring my guitar around and we'll just, you know.
I want to hear Ross sing. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, you know, Ross sings. I haven't been able to hear him yet, but I hear he's got a really good voice.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be a performer back in the old days.
Really? Like, what kind of music were you? Did you sing?
Mainly a lot of pop stuff, because I was in.
That's cool.
Well, I used to be in a band known as Thrasher and the Phantom.
Really?
Yeah, so that was a heavy metal band, and then I also worked for Green River Production Company, and we used to travel around doing like little variety shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
June heard me
cool.
sing. June has heard me sing. We were actually singing show tunes or TV themes on our way to California.
Yes.
Did it sound anything like the Beverly Hillbillies theme song?
Yeah.
Ross, you totally got to get back into that, man. That'd be cool. Like the singing ghost hunter. Come on, that'd be perfect.
We could do our own rock opera, you know, a rock opera ghost hunt. You could do a totally new thing.
Oh God, Wendy's
a nude thing or a new thing?
What?
So, Ross, you know, another thing I wanted to ask you: you've done work for you know, some you know, TV networks and such. You've been on a couple episodes of Taps, correct?
I was on one of them, yes.
Okay, so you've pretty much done TV before. I wanted to ask you, what is it like to do an investigation and have a film crew around you? Do you think it makes it harder to conduct investigations?
Definitely. You know, it depends. Like, you know, with working on a show like Taps, they're just basically following you around. They don't disturb your actual investigation. Okay. But I've been on tons of television shows where basically you have to stop and, you know, redo that, and lots of standing around and waiting. So, you know, there is a difference if you're doing like one of those, you know, documentary type shows, or if you're doing an actual investigation show. Because again, the investigation show, they're just going to follow you around and you just do your thing and kind of have to work your way around the cameras and stuff. But it's the ones that, you know, are telling the story or, you know, interviewing you. Those are the ones that are just long and drawn out. Like I just did one for the Travel Channel called, it's a new series coming out called Hotel Confidential. And they were here like at 9 o'clock in the morning and didn't leave until like 7 o'clock at night. And then they didn't get everything they needed, so they had to come back the next morning. So yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I was always wondering about that because, you know, I mean, we do the YouTube thing, but that's all from our cameras from collecting evidence. You know, we use them to collect evidence and film. But it's a lot different when you have a film crew that's just following you everywhere, and you got boom mics and all of that other stuff around you, you know, and I can only imagine how hard it would be to try to collect some evidence when you got all that around you.
Right, right. But it's fun, you know. I've enjoyed appearing in some of these shows and, you know, meeting some of the people on the show. So, yeah, I really...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking it.
I'm
just... Right. Absolutely. What was it like doing an investigation with TAPS? What was it like?
Well, I've known Jason and Grant, you know, way back before they actually started their show, because we used to be affiliated with them, because we started our groups around the same time. So, you know, it was actually nice to actually meet them in person. But again, you know, they were just kind of laid back, doing their thing. The only thing that kind of frustrated me personally is, you know, they go in and what seems like you would think, you know, on an average when we do an investigation, we could easily be there, you know, 4 to 6 hours doing the actual full-on investigation. Well, once they get down to doing the investigation after the film crew sets up and everything, they were probably maybe put in maybe, you know, just a couple hours of an actual investigation time itself. So I just feel like they miss out on so many opportunities. And I don't know if it was just because that day that maybe the crew was slow, or I'm not sure, but I just thought, gosh, you know, here's a missed opportunity where they could have been here much longer and maybe collected a lot more evidence.
Right. You know, I think I remember the episode that you were on, too. You were doing work with the K2 meter, weren't you?
No, unfortunately, it was the episode that they did at the Seattle Underground, and they had me on as a guest investigator. But through the magic of Hollywood, I was edited down to just an eyewitness. So I still made the cut. I was still on the show. I still got to work with them. I was still a guest investigator, but unfortunately what you see on the actual episode is I just get interviewed as to one of my personal experiences that I had in the underground.
Right. Wow.
Well, he was just an innocent bystander that just was walking by and got this experience.
Right. Well, you know what? That's just television. They do, you know, they do that stuff all the time. But you know, it's still good though. Just you know, just to see how other groups investigate and see how the groups that do television, how they investigate as well. You know, so I would just chalk that up to experience, whether it was a couple hours or, you know, a full night.
Right. Right.
Casey's in
Wendy,
the chat room. Yep, Casey's in the chat room. She wanted to say, hey, she loves you.
Casey. Everybody in chat, if you have any questions, just type them. Wendy will see them. I'm not near a computer because my electricity is out because of the storm. But Wendy can go ahead and just say the question.
It looks like it's just Casey, so she can call in if she wants to.
Funny. Hi, Casey. Mark says hi too. Well, it's pretty funny.
I was just going all by myself.
Well, Wendy, what you got any questions for our guests?
Will you guys go up to that old cemetery up in Weston, Missouri with me when you visit later on this summer?
I wish we could. I don't know how much time we'll have, but we'll definitely try.
We're going to be in your area.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't gotten our tickets yet, so the dates are a little open, but we definitely have to be there on the 20th because we're doing a lecture at Park University.
Okay.
So we will be at Park University on the 20th and doing a ghost hunt of the campus. But anytime we get there and after, or before and afterwards, It's pretty flexible, so we're looking at probably doing the 19th through the 21st so far. But I'm just waiting for
hoping you come a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to the Crypticon. KC Crypticon is the weekend before
I think that's like a week earlier.
No, that's actually just a day earlier.
Oh, is it? Oh.
So is it? Well, maybe we can go in on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I just have to be here Saturday for tours.
Yeah, I was going to say the tours have to be there Saturday. Maybe we can leave early Sunday morning. I wonder if it's cheaper to fly on Sunday mornings. Or is it more expensive?
Looked, no.
No, it's not cheaper. Yeah. I'll keep looking. We've got to find some good deals.
So, I'm excited to go out there, and June's going to show me around and take me to all of her places that, that she got to explore as a kid.
And I have lots of friends that want to meet up, and I said, you got to show Ross a really good time, too, in Kansas City. So see if Stefan can give us a ride in his police car. And
well, if y'all come any earlier,
I was going to say, knowing June, she'd probably point out where she lost her virginity. It happened right then.
Yeah, I probably won't get that detailed.
Casey's coming too, and ew.
What did she say?
Casey would like to come along to Casey as well, and after Ross said something about pointing out where you lost your virginity, she went, ew.
Yeah, we'll just point out all these places. Hey.
Yeah.
There's going to be some good haunted places we can check out when we're out there, right?
Oh yeah. There's quite a few places we could check out. I'd like to take him into Grace and Holy Trinity Cathedral. That place is haunted. Really
Anything
cool.
else we might be able to investigate?
You got the Belvoir Winery too, where Taps was just a month ago, and that show will be on. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. All within like a 20-minute drive, so it's all real handy.
Oh, cool.
And my friend John is convinced that his house is haunted. He lives in one of those homes by the Nelson Art Gallery. One of those really nice homes, the old homes by the Art Gallery. So that would be awesome just to see all of that. So, yeah.
I had to do a job in there. I can honestly say the place is haunted by huge spiders.
Oh. Yeah, that would not be good.
No, it was not good.
We do not want to
no
see the huge spiders. So that would be cool. Yes, I will pay for an extra few days
Wendy,
in the hotel.
You got the question list. Well, let's go through some of the questions. I know I hit on some of them, but I don't have the list in front of me, so I really.
That one. Well, okay. Where's the most interesting places you all have investigated ever?
Ooh, you'll have to let Ross tell you that story. It's my favorite story.
It's her favorite story. Yes, it was June's bedroom.
Oh boy, here we go.
And it wasn't because it was haunted. It was just like, oh my God, what's next to your bed, June?
Would you stop it? We're just really going to get it in so many ways.
Actually, I've had the opportunity to investigate some amazing places all over the world. And I know everybody always wants to know my scariest place, and I think this is the one that June's thinking I'm going to tell, right?
Right.
Okay. One of the things that I do when I lecture is I'll go out to the universities and I'll do my little hour lecture, and then I'll take the students on a ghost hunt of their campus. So I was actually invited to St. Louis University. Now, does anybody know what happened at St. Louis University, paranormal-wise?
I know, but I'm not going to tell.
I mean, I'd have to look it up.
It's where the true exorcist case took place.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I actually got to investigate the room that the little boy had actually stayed in.
Oh, boy.
So,
oh, my word.
Yeah, because the story is actually about a little boy, not a little girl named Linda Blair. So, yeah. So I'm actually, they take me up to the 4th floor of the building that's right next to the church that was involved in the exorcism. And, again, I'm kind of going in cold. I don't know exactly what had happened here, but, I'm starting to get some information. And I'm kind of surprised because when they take me to the 4th floor, it's completely abandoned. And it's, like, torn apart, holes all over the place, graffiti everywhere. And I'm kind of surprised, especially if anybody's ever been to that campus. It's huge, and it's a really nice. It's a nice campus. So I'm like, okay, why aren't they utilizing the space, especially how big it was up there? Well, they tell me that they've had so many problems on the 4th floor that they've had to completely shut it down. So, of course, curiosity's got the best of me. I'm like, okay, and, I'm starting to figure out, what's going on here. Well, this building was once owned by the church, and at the time, the actual nuns lived upstairs, and they actually would teach classes in the big rooms in the center upstairs. And you could see the old chalkboards and the old, desks and everything up there. So, and so I'm walking around into all the individual rooms. And, of course, the students are, pointing out some interesting places and stuff. And we go into this one room, they say, oh, this is a great room because a nun had committed suicide here. And I'm thinking, that's great. Not that she committed suicide, but it was just a nice lead, for an investigation.
Sure.
So I continue on, walking through all the individual rooms. And I walk into this one room, and all of a sudden I hear this crunch underneath my feet. And I look down, and I realize I had stepped on this poor dead bird. It was nothing unusual for me because, for any of us investigators, when you investigate an abandoned place, you find, dead animals.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided to, just kick the little birdie over to the side so no one else would step on its carcass. And I shine my light through the rest of the room. And to my surprise, this room is just filled with dozens and dozens and dozens of these dead birds. And I was
holy
like,
cow.
whoa. What happened here? Because what was really interesting is security had removed all the doors on the 4th floor because they've had so many problems with students sneaking up there and, vandalizing the place and trying to scare each other that it just made it easy for them to do their rounds when they just walk around and, and be able to look in the rooms and not have to open and shut doors. So I'm realizing I'm standing in a room filled with all these birds. And I'm thinking, gosh, why did they all choose to die here? Why, if they have access to the whole 4th floor because there's no door, why did they all choose to die in this one room? Well, students tell me that this is the room that the boy had stayed in. Yes, creep factor has just now gone up.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm standing in this room where most likely an exorcism had taken place because if you're familiar with the case, it is believed that they had performed multiple exorcisms on the boy, moving him to various locations because every time they'd perform an exorcism, they believed that some of the demons would escape. And so preventing them from getting back into the boy, they'll move him to another secret location.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, this is definitely interesting. And so I proceed to invite some of the students into the room. And these are the ones that have equipment. And I give them some of the basics, EMF detector, temperature, and, compass and stuff like that. And they're in the room, and they're probably in the room for less than 5 minutes when all of a sudden all the equipment, and I mean all the equipment, goes off at the exact same time.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
EMF detectors going off like crazy, and there's no lights up there. We're using flashlights, and it's going off like crazy. The temperature is starting to drop in the room, and it's dropping very fast that we can feel it just getting colder and colder. The dowsing rods, somebody had dowsing rods, and they crossed, and then, of course, somebody had a compass. And the compass is just spinning around and around and around and around like crazy. It will not stop. And I witnessed all of this. So as an investigator, oh, my God, I got to document this. I got to prove to everybody that this is really happening. Well, a picture only tells you so much. Yes, I could take a picture and say, yes, all this is happening at the same time, but, you probably won't believe me if you don't believe the story,
Right.
So what happens is I was lucky enough to realize that my camera also shoots in video. So I quickly switched my camera over to video, and it also shoots an infrared video. So I'm filming everything that's going on, and I'm telling students, please tell me what you're experiencing here. And I'm filming the equipment and all this. And I'm realizing, okay, well, since, we're filming, you can also try for EVP as well. So we start asking questions into the air. And I had happened to ask, can you tell me whose room this is? Now, there's about 15 seconds of silence, and then all of a sudden I start to hear crying to the left of me. And I turned and I realized that a couple of the female students have started to cry because they're so terrified being in this room.
Right.
So... yeah, realizing that they're uncomfortable being here, I'm a little uncomfortable, and always, number one, safety. I don't know what I'm up against, and I've got a bunch of students with me. So I decided to pull them out of there real quick. So we decided to call it quits on that investigation in that room and move on to another location. Well, I finally got home from doing my lecture tour, and I am actually reviewing all my evidence that I collected on some of the schools, and I get to that video. And I get to that part where I ask the question, can you tell me whose room this is? I got 2 responses. Now, I'll edit this because I don't want to offend anybody, but it basically says, F you, it's mine.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Discretion being the better part of valor, I would have been gone, probably home by the time you blinked.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I don't even, just to get an EVP like that, especially after being at that location, have all of that stuff happening at once. It's just, that's phenomenal.
So when we go back, my goal is to actually lock June in that room.
Yes, I can't wait.
Well,
actually, I really can't wait.
You said you'd investigate anywhere, so that place is perfect for you.
Yes, that would be awesome, actually.
Let's see.
Well, what's really cool is, I've actually had the opportunity to go back to that location and investigate a few other times. And one time, I actually put a digital recorder up in the room, and I left it there. And I picked it up the next morning. And to my surprise, I picked up audio on that recorder of somebody walking around up there. Now, let you know that the only way to get up to that room is you have to go up this big, creaky staircase. That's the only way up to that room. There is no sounds of anybody going up the staircase, but yet you can hear somebody walking around up there. We also
wasn't the
picked
security?
No, because again, you would hear them open the door, walking up the staircase, and then they'd have to go back down the staircase. There's none of that. All you hear is just somebody walking on the floor right next to the recorder.
Wow.
Yeah, another thing that I picked up too was all of a sudden I started to hear what sounded like a train. The clinking of the wheels on the track, that cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I'm thinking, wow, that's weird. And it sounds like it's actually right next, to the recorder. Like you're actually standing, close to a train. You're hearing it, slowly going down the tracks like it's just getting started. But then all of a sudden, you'll hear this woman pounding on a door, screaming, "Let me out! Let me out!"
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And there are no doors up there.
No. So I sent all these audio files to the school, and I said I don't know how to explain these, especially this thing with this train. I was like, there's no train anywhere close to the school. Well, come to find out, there used to be a train that used to go right by the area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. But that whole woman screaming, "Let me out," was really, really weird. We picked all kinds of really interesting things. Do I have a copy? Why, you want to hear it right now? I wish I could. I don't know if I have access to it. I'm at the office right now, so.
Okay.
But
you
yeah,
can always
I
come back on and bring them along if you like.
I would.
Somebody
I would love to.
forgot to ask you. Somebody forgot to ask you, didn't they, June?
I know. I'm sorry. Well, you know, with everything that's been going on and all that stuff, I just totally forgot to ask. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. June will be punished. We have the whipping room in the back.
Again. I'm getting tired of that. So bad.
Oh, dear.
So, Rob,
Casey's
what's
saying
it
that
like
would be so
going
awesome.
what's it like going to these different universities and talking with these students about the paranormal?
You know, it's fun. It really is. I really enjoy it. I've been doing it since 2004. And I really love the excitement that they get when they get to hang out with, a ghost hunter and get to do a ghost hunt. My thing is I've always been wanting to educate people and help them understand what's going on out there. And so, just knowing that I'm at least passing on a little bit of information that's a little bit better than what they're learning on TV or just imitating on TV.
Right.
That they're at least, going out there a little more educated if they want to pursue ghost hunting. So for me, that's, been the biggest thrill of it all.
Very cool.
Well, I think that's great. Now, when you take them on a ghost hunt, and I know you were talking when you were doing that EVP session, a couple of them were getting upset, and, you had to pretty much switch locations. Does that happen quite often? Do they kind of get caught up into it and get freaked out, or do most of them, are they all gung-ho about it, kind of like you are?
It's a little bit of both, to be honest. I find that a lot of times, when I do these lectures, I usually, after the lecture, I'll have about, 50, 60 students, wanting to do the ghost hunt with me. And then towards the end, and those are the thrills, towards the end, you're left with just about maybe 8. And you find that towards the end, it's those are the ones that are serious about it. They stay through it. They're patient enough to realize it's not going to happen all the time. And the thrill seekers are the ones that ducked out, halfway through, the investigation because, nothing grabbed me, nothing threw something at me, so this place isn't haunted. I'm done.
Yeah. It is funny, though, how many times that when some of the investigations that, we go on, we get some new people in there, and I'd be kind of, they'd be kind of sticking with me, and I'd be kind of, telling them some things and maybe going through a little training or whatever, and one of them was like, well, this is really boring. Like, well, were you expecting bricks and boards to be thrown at your head? Was that it? And some of them were like, yeah.
There, I've got a pile over here. Hold still.
Exactly.
But it's a fascinating field,
covering?
and it just takes, it takes a unique individual to really pursue it as long as I have. You'll find that a lot of these groups will start up because of the excitement of all the shows that they watch, but after 2 or 3 years, they're bored and done with it.
Right.
They want to move on to something more exciting.
And Ross is very unique.
Am I, June?
In a good way.
Why would you say that? What is unique? Explain unique.
Explain unique.
As it pertains to Ross.
Yeah, exactly. See Ross, unique in the dictionary.
Okay, so that's just the definition of unique would be Ross.
Yes. Very cool, unique.
I think what makes me unique is the fact that I am very serious about it. And I'm very honest. If I don't experience something, I don't experience something. And then if I do experience something, you have to have that fair level of skepticism as well. Okay, well, maybe that was something, maybe it wasn't, because unfortunately, as we all learn, sometimes these things happen so fast you're not even sure what just happened.
Right.
So I think, my passion and honesty has made me very successful. Because I always tell people it's the PDP that really makes you a good ghost hunter. And that's the patience, the devotion, and the passion.
Mm-hmm. Extremely.
And that gives you a lot of credibility as well. Just when you're honest and everybody knows that you're honest. Yeah, I caught this or I didn't catch that, and it just gives credibility not only to you but to paranormal. Just in the paranormal field. It
right.
just gives credibility to that itself.
Right.
Because there are many paranormal groups out there that aren't honest, or they'll bend the truth, if you will, and pretty much you lose credibility, and then people just see paranormal investigators as just they're nuts or they're a bunch of liars,
right.
and
the surprising thing is, when people ask me, have I ever seen a ghost? No, I haven't. Mm-hmm. I have not seen an apparition yet. And I could easily lie and say, oh, yeah, I see them all the time. But no, throughout all the years, over 25 years of investigating, and I've been to some amazing places, I have yet to see an apparition. Now, I will say that I've seen shadowy figures, but, I have yet to see that full figure with the details, that just vanishes right in front of your eyes. Yeah.
Why can't we see these things? Why? Sorry.
But have you felt that there was one there with you? Just more so than being able to see it. Were all of your other senses, your spidey senses, all a tingle, so to speak?
Oh, yeah. I've gone into lots of places where you can definitely feel that heaviness or that feeling like you're being watched or you're not alone. Yeah, I pretty much have experienced everything out there that has been reported, but I have not actually seen a ghost.
Okay.
Me either.
So you don't
see
dead people.
Have you ever seen objects move that maybe shouldn't have moved or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've experienced that quite a bit. In fact, that's what inspired me to create what I call the PK board. And that's actually inspired by a Ouija board. But how it works is it doesn't have the planchette where people have to touch it. It's actually a round board with all the letters and numbers with a free spinning arrow. And I've actually witnessed a couple times on investigations where the arrow will actually move on its own.
And that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Wowee.
That is very interesting.
Teresa has joined us in chat now.
Well, finally,
said, hey,
where you been?
Yeah, where you been, Teresa?
Avoid her banana, strawberry, chocolate chip bread. It is evil.
I saw a post about that. What's all that about?
She tempts you. She is Satan. She will tempt you with her bread. Say, eat my bread.
Okay. What's so bad about her bread? I don't get it.
Yelled, she wants some.
No, it's so good
amazing.
that it's evil.
Yeah.
I didn't
get it. She was a great little cook.
Eat it all.
I did. In 2 days. In 2 days, it was gone.
Woo!
What's that, both
really?
loaves? Yeah.
Yes.
Friday.
Yeah, one day I will get to taste some of that too, maybe.
Nope, you're not allowed. All mine.
Yeah,
all mine.
Mine.
Yes. It's been written in the contract she's not allowed to make bread for anybody else but me.
Oh.
Is that right, Teresa? Hey.
If she wants to continue to be my writing partner, yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So bad.
Ooh, smack talk, Teresa. How are you going to come back to that?
It's funny.
She wanted somebody to mention the book you two are collaborating on, Russ.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That'd be a good idea.
Yes. Well, we've actually been working on a book called Haunted Historic Tacoma, where we're covering a lot of the historic buildings in the Tacoma, Washington area. And we've had I should say we had a lot of fun doing a lot of research, especially with her and her obsession with Russ Mansion. And we just actually have had, a great time collecting the stories and working out the details of, what we're going to do with this book. And, unfortunately, when you're working with Arcadia, they're really focused on the photos. So they're very photo-heavy, and then they give you just a limited amount of text. And, oh, my God, we're just coming up with so many amazing stories. We just how do you limit this? How do you edit it down to fit within what their demands are? And so we are definitely going to go more into details, with my follow-up to Spooked in Seattle and do a Terrified in Tacoma book. So, but we're really excited to be working on this book, and the nice thing about it is no one's done a ghost book on just Tacoma. Tacoma has not gotten the exposure it deserves, and it's a very historic city. And I think this is, a really nice thing to do for Tacoma and get more word about its popular haunted hotspots as well.
Yeah.
Teresa says no more research until you make her banana bread.
So I make her banana bread?
That's right.
Banana bread.
Look, the table's turned.
I
don't know if she wants to eat my banana bread. She doesn't know what I'll put in the banana bread.
Oh, boy.
And there's Medea. Hi, Medea. Where have you been, young lady?
Hey, Medea.
Well, the gang's all here.
Casey. Yeah.
Yay.
Roscoe's Casey birthday cupcakes.
Uh-oh. Yeah, fulfilled Ross's cupcakes for her birthday.
Yeah. No, she's a great little cook, and I've been very pleased and very thankful for the amazing women that have come into my life in such a short time.
Aww.
Yes, because we love
them right there. Uh-oh. Terrified in Tacoma will have
What is she saying?
She said, Terrified in Tacoma will have a full chapter on Rust, or I will go on bread strike.
Bread strike. Oh, my.
Well, she can have her chapter. That's fine.
Okay.
It sounds like it's going to need one. It sounds pretty awesome. Rust Mansion, Rust family. Pretty awesome.
It's a pretty good story, and she's done an amazing job researching it. And, of course, she doesn't know when to stop either. She could write her own book on Rust if she wanted to, believe me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
We had her on here talking about it, and, she had all kinds of information and then some and kept coming back with more.
Well, and it is a pretty cool story. Whether the mansion is haunted or not, we can't confirm because, unfortunately, the people living in the house are very private. They don't want anybody coming around. Just alone, the history of the house and what we believe or what we're calling more of a cursed history definitely deserves a spot in Haunted Historic Tacoma.
Cool. Let me see. You just want treats. Shame on you. I have dogs like that.
Hey, isn't that supposed to be a woman's job, feeding her man? Come on.
You better be careful, Rob.
How is that adorable puppy that you got earlier?
Oh, the OG. Oh, my God, he's not a puppy.
Oh, okay.
No.
He's the size of a Buick right now.
Even though he's not even a year yet, he'll be a year in December. Oh, my God, he is not a puppy. I mean, that dog is huge now.
Remember when Casey was I have that picture of Casey cradling him in her little arms, and just a tiny little puppy.
Yep. No, she couldn't pick him up
again.
now. No, he's huge. You can't pick him up anymore.
We both have.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. That reminds me, Wendy, where are your dogs? Usually I hear them barking about now anyways.
Augie! Augie! Oh, you're going to be quiet this time. Oh, sure.
Yeah,
you got stage fright, sorry.
if you want them to bark, they're not going to bark.
Exactly, yeah. It got really hot
we haven't
today, so they're all relaxing.
We haven't let the dogs out in forever. Like that was like a normal thing.
Nice.
So June, tell us about one of your, fun investigations.
Yeah,
one of my fun investigations.
Yeah, June.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You're a guest on the show too.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying listening. I have to say, I tell a story too many times, though. You've probably heard it way too many times. But when I was investigating at the Walker Ames house, that has to be one of the coolest things ever. When all of a sudden it's like we're in the Walker Ames home in Port Gamble, Washington. And this home was built in 1889. It's got a really interesting past where it only housed the managers of the lumber mill. So there could have been maybe, 50 families or something that lived in this house over the years. Maybe not that many, maybe 25 or so. But it's just, for some reason, this place has a lot of paranormal activity. Don't know why. It's so... It has so much activity. I don't know if it's because it's by water and, if there's what kind of, well, I do know it's like in the very beginning, it was a settlement for Native Americans were living there, of course, but when the lumber mill came in, they actually made them move across the water. And it ensued a really, really bad, I guess, fight, let's just say, which, probably don't blame them. But it was pretty fascinating, and that kind of the bloody history and everything like that. But so maybe that's kind of where the paranormal activity came from. Maybe that's what happened. But you just don't know. But anyway, the house that was built on there is just an amazing, beautiful old Victorian home. And one time I was investigating. It was 4:30 in the afternoon. The sun was still out. And this is when we started. And so there is a second floor up in this kind of landing area. And you get up to the second floor, and that's where the bedrooms are. And I was over in this one bedroom, just kind of walking. And I looked over when I came out of the room and saw somebody standing. Didn't really see a person, but saw a shadow standing in this little breezeway between the bathroom and the landing. And I was just thinking, well, that's really bizarre, because while I thought it was my friend Neil, I thought he was standing there. So he had just told us a little bit before that he thinks that we should keep that little area clear because he was feeling some very strong energies there. And so I thought, well, that's really weird. Why is he standing in that little breezeway when he just told us not to stand there, ourselves? So I was going to go over and kind of give him some, grief about it. So I started walking over there when all of a sudden the shadow came towards me and just disappeared, just that quickly. Oh. And I was like, what the hell was that? So I went in there and realized Neil was in the other room. He wasn't anywhere close to that area, and he was talking with this other woman. So I went in there and I said, Neil, I said, who was just standing in the little, breezeway there? He's like, well, nobody. He said, we're the only 3 people up here. And I said, okay, there has to be another person up here because, I'm very skeptical about those things. So, I tried to debunk it like you would not believe. I even went outside, made a leaf in the shape of a person and put it up to the window to see if it went through. But I realized the windows are stained glass windows. You're not going to get a clear shadow through that window.
Right.
I mean, I tried everything. I even thought, well, maybe a bird in the shape of a person landed on the window and was casting that shadow. But like I said, it was a very clear, concise shadow. And not only was it clear, concise, it was upright. And at about 4:30 in the afternoon, the sun was starting to set at that time. In Washington in the wintertime, the sun starts to set around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And so if the sun had been setting, the shadow would have been elongated. And this shadow was standing straight up and down. So all these things that I'm trying, and I even had Neil stand in the place where I would have seen this shadow. And, he would have had to have been standing in a place where I would have seen him standing there, basically. Mm-hmm. So that kind of actually made me more of a believer.
We have a caller, 253-203. Hello, you're on.
Actually, it's me again.
I thought it might be. I thought your other number dropped.
Yes.
I start talking and he hangs up on me, My life story.
Man, that's just rude.
You know that tune. Gab.
Exactly. But anyway, that is one of my stories that I have to say really kind of changed my thinking a lot more, because actually when I got into this field, I wanted to debunk everything because I really didn't believe in a lot of paranormal stuff. And that's something that kind of changed my mind a little bit. Then after that, it was one thing after another of things I couldn't explain. I was like, what the hell? Things are not making sense. Why can't I explain these things? Why can't I find answers for these things? There's no answer for that at all. There's no explanation. But, okay, the cool thing is, though, after I saw the shadow and everything else, and I'm, trying to debunk it, another woman came on. She goes, oh, my God. She goes, I could have sworn that I saw a shadow come by me. And she practically described the same type of shadow that I saw. But it was a short, squat little shadow with a little bald head. Little pudgy guy. So it was pretty awesome. So we both were describing the same kind of little shadow, the bald head and the little pudgy tummy. So
man, that shadow guy must get around then, huh?
Yeah, I'm serious. He we're not the only people. We've heard other people over the years talk about this shadow that they have seen on the second floor. Not only that, they've also seen a shadow in the basement of that place. But that place is amazing. We've got some amazing EVPs there. We also got an EVP, or it wasn't even an EVP, it was a disembodied voice. And several of us were just kind of up on the top floor when all of a sudden one of the women asked, did you raise your children here? All of us heard, yes, I did, coming from a voice somewhere in the house. We could not figure out who, what was saying it. One of my friends was like, oh, the town really wants that place to be haunted. So somebody was probably hiding in the house and all this stuff. And I said, yeah, we were in there for about 6 hours before we heard this voice. I don't think somebody was hiding that long in the house. And, the doors were locked. Nobody could get in. So, anyway.
That's amazing.
I could tell you a lot more stories, but that's pretty cool.
That's the kind of stuff that you just want to see, you want to hear, you want to capture.
Right.
It's just so amazing. I love hearing about all kinds of stuff like that. Shadow people, disembodied voices. I've seen shadow people before numerous times. I've heard disembodied voices. I've seen objects move. And it just freaks. Sometimes it'll freak you out because you just cannot explain it.
Right. And the more and more you just keep trying and keep thinking, okay, there's got to be an explanation for this, and then it just drives you crazy because you can't find an explanation for it.
I don't, Ross. How do you, like, when you see that kind of stuff? You're trying to debunk it. You're into the science part of it. What do you do when science just cannot explain it at all?
Well, you really have to analyze the situation. What is really going on. Having your investigators reenact exactly what happened. Because, again, a lot of times these things happen so quickly, they're not even sure what they just experienced.
And so I've always told people there's nothing wrong with too much data. So try to collect as much data as possible. She saw that. Was there somebody there taking readings? Did anybody take pictures? Was there a video running at the same time? Try to get as much data as possible to help support your members' experiences. And so for me, it's like, can we have that situation happen again? And unfortunately, we can't. That's why we don't have the answers to ghosts and the paranormal, is because they don't, always want to do what we ask them to do. You have to understand that it's all about being at the right place at the right time. And obviously June was at the right place at the right time, and I'm hoping that, I would hope that the people on the team were somehow documenting what was going on at that time. So.
It's pretty, and when something like that does happen to you, that's when I call it, it's like the paranormal fever really gets you. It's like, you don't care. You don't care about sitting in the dark, and everything is boring for 6 hours, or walking around asking questions to nothing, in the air or whatever, because you've been bitten by that bug. And just that one little piece of evidence, even if you go through 6 investigations where there's absolutely nothing, you get nothing on, your digital, recorders or videotape or whatever, you get nothing, but just that one little EVP or electronic voice phenomenon where somebody is trying to, say something, or you hear somebody screaming help or something, it's just, you have to keep going.
Right.
And, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. When I first started investigating, me and the founder of my group, we conducted this investigation, and the very next night we were reviewing all the evidence, listening to the EVPs, watching the videos, and going through all the pictures. And, when you go through evidence, it can get extremely boring, but you got to stay focused, and you just have to have a sharp eye and a sharp ear through the whole thing, you just have to stay sharp. And, towards the end of the night, we're almost done, we're kind of tired, we're just kind of talking, looking at pictures, and it's just, we caught this one picture. We were investigating a farm and took 3 pictures of the house, and in one of the pictures, there was, it looked like there was, I wouldn't necessarily call it an apparition, but kind of like, I'd call it more like a white mist of what looked like an upper portion of a body. Like, you couldn't see details or anything. It just, and we look at the picture, and right away we just look right at the picture and zoom in, and it's just, when you catch stuff like that, it's just, I got to say, it is a rush, and it is amazing, because you're like, what the hell is that? But, I didn't hear that when we were in bed. When you do EVP sessions, I didn't hear that when we did the EVP session. Where the hell did it come from? Just stuff like that is just so interesting, and that's what makes us go through them 200-something hours or whatever of reviewing evidence and going through hours and hours of investigating, and, you're not really seeing or hearing much, but, quite possibly catch something on your equipment. It's amazing.
Right. And that's what makes it all worthwhile, That's what we do. That's why we keep doing what we do.
Absolutely. I've had so many people call me crazy because I'll go to a graveyard at like 3 a.m. and just, or whatever, be there all night investigating.
But you go by yourself, Justin. That is crazy. Don't go by yourself.
Oh, I stopped doing that. I only did that once.
Okay.
And I'll never do it again because it scared the hell out of me.
Exactly. I like that story you told of your graveyard experience.
Tell us of your misadventure at the graveyard.
You know what?
Tell your story
Ross,
again.
Did you ever hear that story, Ross, when I went to the graveyard all by myself?
I don't think Ross has heard that story when you went to the graveyard all by yourself.
Did we lose Ross again?
No, he's right there.
Okay. This was probably when I first got into investigating. I think it was before I actually formed the team. Just a group of people going to a public haunted location, you know. Of course, back then, that was before I got permission to get into places, you know, before I got serious about it. And I called up my friends and said, hey, let's go to the graveyard and go ghost hunting. And all of them, no, we're tired, whatever. It's like 2 in the morning at the time, and I was like, well, whatever, I'm going to go by myself then. So I hop in my truck, and I take off, and as I'm driving there, I'm starting to get, like, nervous or paranoid, you know, like that fear starts setting in because, okay, it's going on 3 a.m., I'm going to be all by myself in this graveyard, you know. So I pull up at the graveyard, and I turn off the truck, and I look over in the graveyard, and I can see shadow movement in the graveyard right away. And I'm like, this is scary as hell. I'm like, I don't even think I'm going to go in there. So wow. I turn the key to my truck, and my truck's dead, completely dead. Won't start, lights won't come on, nothing. And I'm like, oh, God. And I went to school for automotive. I'm a certified automotive technician. I pop the hood of I get out, pop the hood of my truck, and I raise the hood, and my truck started. And my
when
truck
you raised your hood, it started?
I raised the hood, and right when I went to go and put my hand on the battery, before I even did that, the truck started all by itself. And I was like, wow. Okay, this is impossible because there's no automatic start. It's a 97 Chevy pickup, so, I mean, it's not that advanced, you know. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm getting the hell out of here. So I close the hood, and I go over to the truck. I get in, and the key's on the off position, and the truck's running.
Huh.
So the truck started all by itself with the key on the off position. Dude, that's impossible unless you have an automatic start. Impossible. And so I'm like, well, okay, now I'm really freaked out. I'm like, I'm getting the F out of here before something else happens. So I turn the key to the on position so I can have steering, and I peeled out of there. I'll never go back. I've been there again, but not by myself. But that's probably the scariest damn thing I've ever experienced. And being an automotive mechanic, like, I'm the guy that's got to figure it all out, you know. I get home, wow. I got my truck in the garage, I pull it home, and I got the hood up, and I'm messing around by the starter. I'm like, everything's fine. There's no automatic start anywhere on this truck because I've worked on this truck for a long time. It's not there. And, you know, I pull the ignition. I basically ripped my truck apart. I'm like, there's no bad wire anywhere. I checked the truck. It's never, ever done that before or after that.
Wow.
I still have the truck. I'm sitting right next to it. But it's insane. It's called Gypsy's Graveyard. It's actually about 15 minutes away from my house.
Well, maybe we'll have to check that out when we're out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I told Todd about that, and he made me swear never ever to go up there alone again. I'm like, dude, as soon as that happened, I'm like, I ain't never going there alone again. But he told me, he goes, man, if that ever happened to me, I probably would have gave up ghost hunting. I probably would have picked up another hobby. I'm like, man, that really reeled me in. I'm like, it's just impossible. That shouldn't have happened, you know. So,
right.
And then that's when I actually formed my team, and I got into it. Instead of the thrill seeking, I got into it for this, like you, Ross, the science and why the hell is this happening, you know.
Right.
And then after a while, we started doing residential areas, people that would contact us who are experiencing stuff, so we would go there and investigate for them, and, you know, pretty much to either prove or disprove, you know, activity that they'd have in their house. But, I mean, that's just insane. I've never had a vehicle start when it doesn't have an automatic start, you know, when you're not in the vehicle.
Well, that's pretty amazing. Definitely. That's pretty cool.
Even Medea is saying she might have pooped herself.
And we can't use that as scientific evidence.
Unless it was like in a series of events. You know.
Yep.
It's just one hell of a personal experience, you know.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Wowie.
Ross,
what will you be? Oh.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Justin. No, that's okay. I was just going to take a different direction.
Okay. You gotta go with who pulls the shortest straw.
Here we go.
Oh, I love our
sound effects. I was curious, Ross, when you are lecturing at Park University, is there a particular book you'll be using, or just covering all of the bases? One-day class? What's up with that?
It's just it's an hour lecture, and I believe you guys would be more than welcome to come by and check us out.
Yay!
Oh, I'd love to. Yay!
Yeah. But basically, it's just an hour lecture that goes over the basics of some of the things that we experience.
Did you enter a stadium?
What's that?
Did you enter a stadium? It's kind of echoey like that, you know, a stadium
sound. Oh, no.
Sound.
I think I had actually walked too close to June.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
That happened to me.
Earned her electric personality.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, as I said, it's just it's an hour lecture that covers the basics and some of the things that you'll experience in paranormal, the history of it all. And then it just goes into, you know, if you want to do an investigation, you know, this is what you'd want to do. So.
Very cool. Yes, I'd love to. I can even check.
Yeah, and also, too, if you are able to swing by and check us out at Park University, you'll actually also see that video clip from St. Louis University.
Ooh,
oh, my goodness. Ooh.
I haven't seen it either, so I can't wait.
I will take the extra blood pressure medication and be there.
Awesome.
I got to get out there sometime. I'm just stuck out here in my cornfield, so.
Yeah, that would freak me out more than anything, Justin. Being near a cornfield, that just freaks me out. I've been lost in a cornfield before. Yeah, it's not. It's scary.
Oh, goodness.
Please, she was just reenacting. She was just reenacting scenes from Children in the Corn from the Corn. That's all it was.
One of my favorite movies, of course.
I've done investigations in the middle of a cornfield in the middle of the night, and that's
holy crap.
I mean, that's some pretty scary stuff, and you catch some amazing stuff. You guys would love to investigate the farm I live on. It's the farm. It dates back to the 1800s. I have documentation of the farm from back then, and it's just the farm was so much bigger. The house is so ancient. You go out into the fields and at night and you do an investigation. You do EVP work. There's no other houses that are really close by, so there's just no contamination.
Oh, awesome.
And you guys would love it.
Medea has a question for Ross. Ross, after doing this for so long, what's the most rewarding aspect of it for you? What keeps you out there in the field?
Oh, it's me.
Meeting the wonderful people like her.
Malachi.
No, actually, yes, I've met some wonderful people in the field, but I think for me is walking away with a piece of evidence that you know in your heart and soul that this was truly paranormal, and you just can't explain it. And that's that one thing that just keeps you going and saying, gosh, if I can get this, what else is out there?
Sure.
So
absolutely.
I think, it's that thrill, of yes, I just experienced something, and now I want more and be able to try to explain what it is I captured. So for me, that's been pretty cool. But then also, as I said earlier, just the excitement of when I meet a lot of these people that want to get involved in what we're doing and helping to educate them and getting them out into the field and, watching them on their first investigation. It's almost like, raising a kid, and watching them take their first steps, and that's pretty exciting as well.
June,
okay, Teresa's
June,
written several articles
what about
on
you, June?
corn mazes.
What about me?
Yeah. Same question.
What makes it all worthwhile for you, June?
What makes it all worthwhile for me? I have to say, that was my answer, too. I would have said basically the same thing, but he said it more poetically. It is. It's just, I mean, you can't have explanations for all of your answers, but when you get something that, I don't know, I have to say the same thing that he said. I agree completely. Yeah.
He's just a copycat.
I know. I can't help it.
Yep, she's that way. I know it.
I know. But, I mean, like I said, he said it more poetically and more better than I would. See, I totally clam up when I try to say anything, like that around him.
Oh.
No. Stop.
Sing it for us, June. Sing it for us.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Like Mel Phillips used to do.
Yeah, Mel Phillips. Yeah, I don't stutter.
No, but
Hey,
sing his words.
I still think you two should start a band, and you guys can start doing some gigs. I think that would be pretty interesting.
That would be awesome.
You guys should do an intro for our show. You guys could sing a new intro for our show. That'd be great, huh?
We'll sing some Air Supply's greatest hits.
What was the name that you went by?
Oh,
Cherry
my God.
something?
Would you stop?
What?
Okay, my name was a little different back then.
Was it Cherry Bomb?
No, well, I wish it was that. That probably would have been a lot better than what I went by. It was called Cherry Poppins. That was my band name.
Uh-oh, Medea's typing.
Oh, boy. So we could go out on the road as Thrasher and Cherry Poppins.
Oh,
there you go.
Boy, that's good.
There's the album title.
That would be Can I go along as a groupie?
Mark is leaving. He's going to be driving to Los Angeles tomorrow, so we're saying.
Oh dear. Okay.
So I guess he's going to have a nice long drive.
Have a safe journey, Mark. We wish you the best.
We've done that,
safe
June.
Journey, Mark.
You remember that drive, June?
Yes, I remember that drive. But we will not be doing it in a full, we will not be doing it all at once again. We will be breaking it up next time we go. We will at least take 2 to 3 days to drive that distance. It was not so bad the first, I think, quite a bit. Oh, it wasn't so bad. I think the last 5 hours it about killed us. Because we all didn't sleep. So then it was just like,
yeah,
yeah, it was really bad. The last 5 hours were the absolute worst. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it was okay. It wasn't too bad, actually. It was a lot better than I thought.
But I'm proud to say that I took her Disney cherry.
Yes, he did. I've never been to Disneyland before. So,
here, hi. What's it like at Disney? I've never been there ever.
It's pretty awesome. It's really fun, I have to say. It's like I've never ridden, any of the rides before. He also took that cherry from me too. Our first roller coaster ride at Disneyland. So it was pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun, and they just go out of their way to please you in every way. It's just pretty nice.
What's your favorite ride there?
My favorite? Actually, I really, really love the Indiana Jones one or the Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are my two favorites, I think.
That's cool. What about you, Ross? What's your favorite ride over there?
Oh, my God. My favorite ride is the Tower of Terror, which I could not get her to do.
No freaking way.
What does it do?
What does it do? I can tell you.
Now, you guys are familiar with the Tower of Terror, right?
Is that the one?
It's the one with the elevator that drops.
Oh,
no freaking way.
I'm afraid of heights, so I don't even know if I'd be able to do it.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'm afraid of heights and dropping.
I'm not afraid of heights. It's that fall and the sudden stop and
yeah, it's that fall.
I mean, I'm definitely
I hate to be in a plane.
Yeah, I'm definitely afraid of heights.
Teresa's asking, June and Ross, what is your advice for her for when she goes on her first investigation?
If the team lead says, go into this dark closet and lock the door behind you and just sit in a corner with a little candle and say, come to me, I'm all yours, don't do it.
Come on. Who's going to be the team lead that night?
No. My biggest thing is, go in there with an open mind. Have a fair share of skepticism. And just try to document as much as you can. That's really all you can do. And don't go in with the ideas that everything is going to be, amazingly paranormal and things are going to happen. Expect the fact that you will probably sit there for hours and nothing will happen. You may get something on an EVP or on your video when you review that, but just be very patient and be in control of the situation. Make sure that you are putting yourself in a controlled environment. So if you do experience something, that you can, rule out certain things. And just, have a good time.
Cool. Why is Medea singing It's a Small World After All, and Teresa's going to kill her for it?
Because everybody that listens to our show is freaking nuts. So.
Oh, okay. That's why.
We won't talk about mayonnaise or anything like that.
Actually, it came on, yeah. Mayo and the big smiley face.
Warm mayonnaise? And Alfredo sauce?
No, we'll see you laughing. Ew, June, that's nasty.
Oh, sorry. It just came out. I'm sorry.
Oh, my friend Cindy came on. Hi, Cindy. So, guys, okay, June, what's the next movie night there at Spooked?
Well, our next movie night is going to be on the 21st. That's Friday the 21st, and it's going to be, is it called The Tale of Lizzie Borden or just Lizzie Borden?
The Legend of Lizzie Borden.
The Legend of Lizzie Borden, yes. And it's with the amazing Elizabeth Montgomery playing Lizzie Borden. So, And I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie before, but it's actually a really good movie on how they think that Lizzie Borden did do it. So, and I remember after seeing that movie the first time a long time ago, I remember thinking, that's probably exactly how she did it. And it was just like, it totally convinced me. So now I think she is guilty.
No, it's a great movie, and it's nice that we have an unedited version, so you get side boob in this one.
Ooh. Get a little bit of nudity. Just a side nudity.
All right. Now, have you two heard of the movie The Conjuring that's coming out next month?
I haven't.
I've heard.
Okay.
I think I've seen the previews for it.
We're going to have Andrea Perron, I think that's the way you pronounce it, on Friday night on a Blog Talk Radio show. You catch it. I'm reading her book, and it's freaking wild and intense.
Oh wow! It's based on her story.
Yes, yes, it is. It's based on it.
Oh.
And then the book is actually the non-movie version.
Right. Oh wow.
And she actually said that they actually had to tone it down for the movie, so a lot of stuff happened that was actually crazier, but they toned it down. And actually, Ed and Lorraine Warren actually worked on that case, and it's just, you watch their previews for it, and it's just creepy as hell. And it's I cannot wait until Friday so I can just, because she lived through it, and the movie isn't out yet, so you get to hear the true story, and from her point of view, and then
she was just 12 years old at the time.
Yeah, and then just go see the movie, so you listen to our show and then just go watch the movie, and then as you're watching the movie, just think about all of the things that she was saying about what happened. It's just that's what I can't wait for. It's going to be amazing.
Oh wow, that is really awesome! I can't wait to hear it. Of course, I will have to probably hear it later since you will have to be here first, unfortunately.
Right.
Oh, will Ross let you call in?
What?
No, I think it's the movie night here at Spook, so.
Through the magic of Blog Talk, you'll be able to listen to the archive version.
Yes, we will definitely listen to the archive.
Okay, and Lizzie Borden is on the 21st, correct?
Yes.
The legend?
Yep.
Okay.
The Legend of Lizzie Borden, yes.
Woo!
So when did you guys start doing movie nights over there? And is it all just like paranormal stuff that's based on a true story, or is it all just just completely just all Hollywood type?
It's basically all horror based movies. So we don't just do, ghost movies like Legend of Lizzie Borden. That's not paranormal. But anything that has to, do with horror, anybody where people die, we like.
Right.
That's right. But, we're going to do other movies. What are some of the other movies coming up that we're going to do? I think we're going to do The Changeling in a few months. This is The Changeling not with, what's her name? But this is the old Changeling with George C. Scott. And
the one that I enact every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my
favorite.
Like one of my favorite
at the
movies.
Top of the stairs. Mm-hmm. Throw the tennis balls down the stairs at me.
Yeah. Just to freak you out. As long as they're not wet tennis balls, that's a bad thing. That would freak me out. Oh, yes. Okay, never mind.
Okay, one
I hate to say
Charlize Theron is the one that it is not.
Yeah, or what's her name? Oh God, my brain isn't working. I think my phone is starting to die. So just to let you know, it's starting to go bad a little bit.
Mine too.
Well, we can wrap this up.
You guys have sucked the life out of our batteries. Is this paranormal?
Could be. You know, we are in a haunted location. You never know.
Oh.
All right, kids. Well, we can wrap it up. Was there anything you wanted to share? Wanted to put a shout out to anybody? Anything like that?
Well, just thank you guys for having us on. We really had fun tonight. This has been a really good show. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for coming on.
You're feeling better, Justin. Really glad you're feeling better.
Oh, I know. I'm just so happy too. I seriously, I was just in such a bad place, and I really hate hospitals, and I was so upset because we were supposed to do this show last Wednesday, and I'm just sitting at the hospital, and not feeling good at all. But
it's worked out for better for us anyway, so it was good.
Yeah, it all worked out. So, all right. So, do you guys have any websites or anything for Spooked in Seattle or your paranormal group or anything that you would like to plug really quick?
No. Well, you can definitely find us at spookedinseattle.com or AGhost at aghost.org. You can also look up and see what I'm doing if I get a chance to update my website, but it's rossallison.com as well.
Very cool. I've been posting those links all night.
But you don't want to go to that JuneNixon.com website.
Man, last time I did, I downloaded some kind of a weird virus. I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, I'm always giving people these weird viruses. I don't know what it is.
That's what you get for being on those 900 numbers.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. So wrong.
Well, all right. I wish you two the very best on future investigations. Of course, keep us updated. As far as if you're doing events or if we do an investigation and you'd like to share some evidence, you can go ahead and shoot us a message, and we can, maybe share some evidence on the show, and it'd be a good time.
Cool.
If you feel like talking, just come on.
Well, definitely. Call in anytime.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to come out here too, as well. So.
That's right.
Something hit me on the back, and it was Augie that snuck up behind me. Sorry. It startled me.
As long as it's tangible.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank
you all so much for coming on the show. Okay, all righty. Well, we will talk to you later then. We'll wrap her up. I'll play a song of some sort, and away we will go. Thank you, guys. Thank you both very much. I look forward to meeting Ross in August and seeing June again after all those years.
Oh, yeah. We're looking forward to it. We'll see you guys soon.